Thank you. I just ask that you hold your hands for a second. That's great. And our declaration of conflicts of interest or pecuniary interest, or is anybody having to declare anything? Good. Okay, let's move on to number 4, approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. I know everybody's had a chance to read them over. Does anybody have any questions or concerns? Otherwise, we'll go ahead and approve the minutes.
I move that we approve them.
Thank you, Leanne. We need a seconder.
I will second that.
Seconding them. And can you show whether you're in favor? Okay, the motion passes. Correspondence. That is number 6 on our list, and I am going to be doing the first piece. I received a letter, and I received a letter about 2 months ago, and I informed you that the Souls was changing over, and it was going to become, there was an amalgamation happening, and it's the Ontario Library Services, and it takes effect on the date. The date is March 31st. We have to have a rep approved for. I have served as a rep for the last 2 years. What they're asking is we need to appoint a rep that will sit on the board assembly. Now, what has happened is they've amalgamated the Northern Division and the Southern Division, and they're forming a board of directors that will consist of 9 members of the Assembly plus 4 ministry people. But we must appoint our representative to sit on our Assembly. That representative is responsible for basically 2 meetings a year, and they have been Zoom meetings. One is usually in the fall, one is usually in the spring. The next meeting coming up is scheduled for April. It will be a Zoom meeting. What they do is update you with all the current information. Right now, I am taking a 5-part course on governance. And what the course is about is the relationship between boards and local municipal councils and the local municipality. It's a very good, it's a really great program, and I would recommend anybody who wants to learn about the library system to think about becoming the representative. We don't have to make the decision tonight, but we do have to make it before the or at the next meeting, at least in March. It would be great if we could make a decision tonight if someone wishes to serve in that capacity. I have to forward the information on to the new organization. They will contact you through an email, and I will give them all your contact information. So I don't know if anyone is interested in the role. It is not a demanding role, but I will say you can make it a demanding role if you wish to take some of the courses. I've sat in on all the COVID courses they've offered and all the COVID information this year. So it depends what you want to make it. It is well worth becoming involved with. I know Bernice has served as a Souls rep before, and she has some experience with it. And I know others of you likely have served in the past as well. So I'm just putting it out there. Whoever chooses, I will send them a copy of the letter that I received and a copy of the letter that the board received as well. Any questions or comments in regards to it? Or is anyone interested in serving as the rep?
I can't serve as the rep, but I just want to say it was really nice to be there periodically, because sometimes we get centered on what we're doing with our library, but it's a great opportunity to share with other people, quite often in a similar situation in a rural environment, in terms of what they're doing in their libraries and what implications could be. So I thought it was informative, and you're right. It's not arduous, but it's a really interesting opportunity.
Are the
Anyone?
governance courses required? Or
No. Becky, they offer a real variety of courses. Even Sherry has mentioned to me that they offer courses for library staff. Even our CEO can take courses. It's also a source of information. If we had a question that we were not able to get clarification, for example, a legal issue, and we were uncertain, and before we wanted to maybe ask the town or get clarification from them, we might seek clarification through them. They would give us some background. So they offer they offer a variety of services. For example, all our e-services in our library are funded and supplied through Souls, and they're going to continue to do that because they can buy it at a cost that benefits us. So they offer a variety of services. You can choose what you want to do. I've decided to take a few of the courses because I'm interested in them. If you are just interested in being the Souls rep, attending the meetings, whether they be Zoom or in person, I can tell you I had an opportunity to attend 2 of the in-person ones. I went to Owen Sound and I went to Stratford, and it was really a nice opportunity to meet a lot of other people in the library world, and you begin to understand what a wonderful library system we have when you hear other people meeting the challenges with their library system that they have to deal with. And it's it's a really neat way of networking and getting to know some of the other people in the system.
And sorry, is it a minimum term or was it?
We've usually had the term at 2 years. I've sat on it. This is my 3rd year, but it could be a 1-year term.
Oh, okay.
Are you indicating you're interested, Becky?
I don't mind doing it. Actually, the premise of doing Zoom meetings actually suits me fine because I think sometimes Zoom meetings are a little bit more manageable, right? Because you don't have to travel anywhere or if you are busy. So I'll do it for a year.
Okay.
And then see. I think I've always said that I'll do it for a year and then it just keeps going. But
I can tell you, it is an interesting, and often the Zoom meetings are smaller in nature. There'll be 10 to 15 people, so you feel you can participate in a meeting like that more than where you're sitting and there's 50 people. So we need a motion for Becky to serve as our. I'm sorry, you'll be the Ontario Library Service. You'll be under the Ontario Library Services Library Board Association. So we need a motion and then a seconder for that.
Bernice here, I'll make the motion.
Okay, and a seconder.
I'll second.
Leanne, I'm sorry, Leanne, did you put your hand up?
I turned my mic on, but yes, I want to second it, sure.
Okay, and everyone in favor? Great. The motion moves. That was the only correspondence that I had, and we'll move next to our financial report number 7, accounts payable. I don't know if anybody has any questions. If you've reviewed the accounts payable from December 30th to February 4th, if you have any questions or concerns, I know I've talked to Sherry about it already, and if you have anything, Sherry's prepared to clarify anything if you have any questions about that.
I have a question, Terrence. SKMC repairs. What is SKMC?
Sherry, can I bother you?
Steve Kerr Memorial Complex.
You're on mute, Sherry.
Sherry,
need
your
to turn on
mic's
your,
not on.
I was giving you guys a real good answer there. Yeah, that's the Steve Kerr Memorial Complex. So what's happened there is that particular person has sent one bill in. Half of it was for the complex. The second half of that bill was for us. So that's why it's both. I'm not sure which statement is that one on, John?
Gosh, I can find it. Yeah.
So there'll be 2 amounts with it. So half of it will be billed to the Steve Kerr. The other half will be library.
Oh, that was Charles Smith Electric.
Correct.
Yeah.
So he did work for them as well as us on the same day and just put one bill in. So we've divided that bill up according to the.
Okay. I should have known that. Thanks, Sherry.
You're welcome.
Okay, anything else in regards to our accounts payable? Okay, well, we need a motion to move forward to approve the accounts payable for December 30th to February 4th.
I'll move that.
Thank you, Becky. Seconder?
I'll second it.
Great, thank you. John, everybody in favor? Thank you. Accounts payable finished. Now, Becky, I'm sorry, go ahead, Matt.
No, I was
That-
trying to get an extra vote in there by putting my hand up twice. So
Okay, I'm
please
sorry about
disregard.
that. You're just checking to see if I'm watching the screen. Becky, I'm sorry I did not call you today. But do you have a friend's report?
I can just report that Christine Deeble did actually drop off the check to the library. Sherry got it, right, Sherry? Yeah.
Correct?
So she dropped off the check. Just Christine said we might as well have the check now. And then, like I said, when we are able to do a photo, we'll do a photo and submit that to the papers and that. And we're going to have our friends general meeting. I think we're planning on February-ish, March-ish. So, but that's about it.
Oh, great. Well, it's nice that they make such a good donation. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Number 10, library updates. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Sherry.
And I think I did have one more update that I should have mentioned, sorry, when you were asking for an addition. I wanted to give a quick COVID update as well. So I do have 3 updates I'd like to pass along. The first one was the PCIN van. I did send you an email previously, and I just want to give a quick review. The courier driver is a municipality of North Perth employee, but the van is owned by PCIN, and the city of Stratford is part of the city of Stratford's fleet, and it's managed by their fleet supervisor. So I contacted them today or earlier yesterday in hopes for an update, but they don't have an update available. So what I am able to tell you is the van is in the process of being repaired. Might take up to 2 months, but we are really fortunate of the timing that we're able to use the Stratford Public Library van on wheels, which is the one they use for their outreach programs. It's not being used right now because of COVID, and we're going to be able to use that hopefully until ours gets fixed. But I will add it to next month's agenda, and hopefully I can bring you an update, a better update at that time.
Sherry,
Yes,
Sherry, question. Where was it hit?
right in front of the Ag Hall. We were going
Oh,
straight.
sorry. I mean, where in the van was it hit? Like,
Oh, so he was going straight, like going towards Kitchener, and the person was pulling out of the racecourse side road. So that front panel, whole front panel, but the sidewalk or the whole panel was dinged in. It wasn't drivable because of the wheel. The windshield was broken, but the airbag did not go off.
okay, the engine was okay.
You know what? I can't really say too. I didn't ask that question, John.
Okay, no, I'm just curious. Were the charges late at all, I guess, or?
We got the report. It didn't indicate that. I don't know how that works either. It's in the hands of the fleet manager of the Stratford fleet manager. That was kind of why I was contacting them for the update, but we
Okay.
did get the, yeah.
Sherry, is it true that the repair is 38,000?
Estimated.
Estimated.
That's I should have maybe, yeah, that's where I wanted to have a little bit more of a real, so I didn't get that information. I did try 2 different contacts, but neither were able to give me any more or any information they were ready to pass on at this point. So
Thank you.
38,000 sounds like it should be almost a write-off. Like that's a lot of scratch.
Yeah.
That's
That's
what
a lot of damage.
that was I maybe shouldn't have passed that one on. That was a verbal amongst, that was a verbal estimate. So that was not, I have no idea what it is.
No, and we would never hold you to that, but I would even say in a verbal estimate, like if you get into a fender bender in the parking lot to saying, well, it could be 3 to 5 grand, nobody's going to say anything to that, but 38 grand, like
Yeah.
they're
What year was the van?
discussing, it's a van.
Brand new,
Like-
it's a new Mercedes
Oh.
van,
Okay.
just about 6 months old.
So it would be like 45 new.
The cost was in when Rebecca was here, but I don't have that with me right now. I assume it was,
a lot more.
Oh no, and I'm not challenging. I'm not challenging. It just sounds like 38 grand. That's a significant ding. Like that's more than a scratched fender and a broken headlight.
I'm really hoping I can come back to you at the last meeting and say, boy, did I exaggerate,
So
when I get some real information, but
we'll just buff right
Before-
out. So
library operating
That
budget,
also,
I'm sorry.
is that also covered by insurance? Is that like an insurance?
Those were all the information, all the
Inquiry?
questions that I tried to find out today, or if I tried, actually it was Monday and Tuesday, and I wasn't able to get any of that information because it doesn't,
Okay.
because we're not the owners of the van, I guess. You know, it's PCIN is the owner of the van, but we're only a small part of that. And I did try. I actually tried Julia, the library CEO, also in Stratford, and she didn't have any more information from me either. So I apologize, but I tried.
I'm
I
sure
will
it's
bring
an
it back to the
insurance
next
claim.
meeting.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going under insurance, under their fleet insurance.
Not sure.
Yeah. The next one we wanted to discuss was the library operating budget, an update.
Yes, so then just a quick update for that one also. We passed it on January the 12th, and that was presented to the North Perth Municipal Council at their budget meeting on January 13th, and then reviewed by the North Perth Council at their next budget meeting on January 27th, and no concerns were brought forward at either meeting. So the next step is the council has prepared a virtual public presentation video for the proposed 2021 budget, and this video is going to be posted on Your Say northperth.ca for the public to watch, along with a feedback form and comments and questions. And this consultation will run from February 8th to February 22nd. That's my update for the budget.
And you wanted to mention something about COVID.
I did want to, because of yesterday's announcement. So currently our North Perth service levels will remain status quo. We have been told until our region returns to the framework, the shutdown and stay-at-home orders still apply to us. But as the provincial government announced yesterday, they will begin to gradually lift the public health restrictions in some regions starting next week. So we are going to wait for some more information regarding the response framework, and we're going to have to pivot our services accordingly. I'll keep you up to date, probably via an email, if any significant changes take place. But once again, we don't really know until we find out more from the provincial government and where we're fitting in that framework, which color we're fitting into, and that is not announced as of yet. So it's status quo for us, or maintaining the same, which really is going really well. We're fairly busy. It's a nice status quo is good. I feel is good at this point in time.
Thank you, Sherry. I also noticed the good news is we continue to grow in terms of volume of number of services that we're providing from the beginning of the year till now. So that's good news. We didn't have anything under trends for discussion, but other business, Bernice wanted to share with us the Ontario Library Association conference she participated in. So Bernice, I'll turn it over to you.
Sure, I'll make it a bit short. It was a bit different, obviously, doing it online, but there was a lot of really good information. I won't go in huge depth, but one of the workshops that I attended was appraisals and strategies that work. And it was very good in terms of talking about action plans, implementing action plans, and that sort of thing. Some of it new, but some of it things that we know. And given that at some point we will be moving into making a more detailed strat plan for the library, it was very productive, and some of those things I'll definitely be implementing in my thought process when we go through the strat plan. Another workshop that I found really productive was titled "What Keeps Your CEO Up at Night?" And this is something that we have to keep in mind as a board, that the team at the library have been doing great work. It's even more complex now. So, and in the next couple of years, there will be a lot of issues and things like that they'll have to deal with. So again, I won't detail everything, but they outlined 6 main points about what could be issues for leadership, and there were CEOs from libraries discussing how to work with them, and ideas of what to do or not do. And I remember someone in a previous meeting had said, as a good reminder, even when you're in a crisis, people do want to help, but a reminder for us as a board is nose in, hands out when we're working with the library, working in that sort of environment. The Saturday portion this year, as in other years, was in-depth work in terms of working with with boards. And I do hope at some point that we can get quite a number of the board members to go on the Saturday, because it's very informative. And one of the discussion points was working with the municipality, and also budget restrictions and expectations of budget restrictions and how to work with that. So that in a nutshell were some of the workshops that I attended. And I think as things come along, I'll be sharing more of that information, or share some of the strategies that I learned in the workshops.
Thank you, Bernice. Matter of fact, I mentioned to Bernice, maybe in the future it would be nice if a group of us from our board could attend one day of the workshop, especially the Saturday. It is certainly worth it. For anyone who's not had the experience of going, it is a remarkable conference to attend, and you learn so much about the library system, and you get an opportunity to visit and share with so many people in the business that see it differently than we do as board members. So maybe next year we'll have that opportunity. 12.2. Oh, I'm sorry. Did anybody have any questions for Bernice? I apologize. Thank you, Bernice. I appreciate, and I'm sure you enjoyed the conference. I know I have. The last piece of business, 12.2, is the replacement of our COE. I met with Jen Robertson. We discussed, as you all were aware, they posted the position. It was posted in the listable paper and a variety of other sources. They did get a number of responses, and now we're moving to the next stage. Now that the responses have come in, there has to be a vetting process, and the Human Resources Department, Jan has spoken to me. She'd like 2 board representatives to be part of the team that will bring to the board a candidate for approval. One of the representatives, she asked if I would serve as the chair, and this next representative, she would ask, she suggested John, if John is willing, and if John is unwilling, that one member of our board join the interview team. The 2 representatives are responsible with Jan, for screening of the applications, participating in the online interviews, and eventually, after all the process goes through, would be to present the candidate for CEO to the board for their approval, and to answer the questions the board would have about that process that we went through to select the new CEO. So that is where we're at. And so tonight, and I'm sorry, this is another little thing. I didn't have phone numbers for you all, and I did have to make a contact with John, and I did not have an opportunity, so I put him on the spot. So I'm asking John here tonight as the vice chair if he'd be willing to serve on that task force to select the new CEO.
I would, Terrence.
Okay.
I'm good.
John, we need a motion. A motion needs to be put forward that you and I will serve as the representatives for the selection of the CEO. We will be working with Jen. Chances are it will not be in person. It will be all done online. And so a motion needs to be put forth that I, Terry Ritchie, and John McLeod will serve as the representatives for the board in the selection process of the COE. Moved by Matt, seconded by Leanne. Everybody in favor? Okay, thank you. Just before we conclude and adjourn, I just wanted to thank Sherry. Sherry has been terrific. This has been a learning process for me, but I'll tell you, without Sherry, I don't think we'd be where we're at. So thank you, Sherry, for everything you do. I certainly appreciate it from where I stand. I meet with Sherry every Wednesday. We go over everything. I have to say she does a remarkable job, and we're blessed to have her. I also wanted to thank Bernice. Bernice was a remarkable chair, and I hope I can just do a decent job to replace her. I have been in touch. Bernice and I talk. As a matter of fact, we were chatting today, and I said, Bernice, we've got to be careful. We don't talk too much. It's too easy to get into conversation. So I thank Bernice for her years of service that she's given the board. And I have to thank a few other people who have helped me this month. Jen Robertson has met with me, and Simon, I've called him and he's been able to help me, and so I thank them. And I also thank Matt. He's been guiding me through. A month ago, he spent 2 hours on the computer with me, so I do appreciate what everybody's done to help. So as we end this meeting, our meeting will end at 7:28. That's a fast meeting tonight, guys. But we need a motion to end our meeting. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, March 9th. Location and format to be determined. Like everything, thank you. I just saw something flash up here. I'm sorry, we need a motion to adjourn our meeting and a seconder. Matt just moved it, a seconder?
Actually, just, there was some information in the chat. Follow up
Okay.
to the PCIN van, North Perth portion was $13,926 according to the accounts.
Wow, Sarah, you're awesome.
Thanks, Sarah.
Could I say something just before we officially adjourn, Terry?
Sure.
Or Terrence, my apologies. I would also like to thank Sherry and Bernice and everyone. They've done a phenomenal job given these unique times that we're in right now. So I would just like to publicly thank everyone here. And Terrence, you've done a bang up job tonight. Like tonight was top shelf.
Thank you.
I think it was really good, but certainly like to extend special kudos to Sherry. You've done a bang up job, and your credit to North Perth. I just wanted to say that. So
I do really sincerely appreciate those thank yous, because I think you're aware it's just not my forte, but I certainly do appreciate I do really sincerely appreciate your thank you. Thanks for
well,
expressing
you're taking it in stride, and you're doing a bang up job. So just wanted to say that publicly. Thank you.
And it's great to see everyone again.
Hey,
And
before you
we
go, I'd like to say something too, Matt and Leanne. I just this not library stuff here, but the budget deliberations and the opportunity online to give your feedback on the budget. I thought that was really great. The way it was laid out, the way it explained everything, and gave you an insight into a lot of what council is doing and how they do it when they put the budget together. And I don't know whether this has been done before. Is this the first time they've done that, Matt? Or
Actually, and to be honest with you, John, like by looking at the numbers and the people who have responded to the surveys, if they go and depending on how far they get through, not the survey, but through their budget presentation, there seems to be a significantly larger proportion of people that are doing things virtually and actually engaging with the budget process than what there has been when we've done them live.
Yeah.
I do believe it was 3 or 4 years ago we started doing public deliberations, and we had all of the information that we have for the budget on there, beautiful Coroplast boards and everything, and charts and graphs, and all the department heads were there for an evening. And the first year that we did it, there was one person, my apologies, I'm exaggerating, 2 people that came out there for the entire 6 until 8 o'clock session for your opportunity to talk with department heads and talk about other projects and to look through everything that you received virtually online. And the year after that, it was, I think we had to get the crowd control barriers out because I think we had 3 or 4 people come out. So for some reason, the the virtual format, whether it's the crazy times that we're in, or it's just more convenient, if you had a couple of hours, you don't have to go down to the town office to do that. But yes, we have done it before, the consultations, because we want everyone's input as to find out what projects they think are important, what they think about the entire process, what they think about everything that's going on with the money that we're spending, which is we're spending all of the taxpayers' money with the projects to be running North Perth. That's everything that we're doing. So we want as much input as we can, good, bad, or indifferent. We certainly all look at it, and we all do everything that we possibly can to mitigate anything that comes back from it. But obviously, at the end of the day, we still have a business to conduct.
Yeah, and I think it's great
Certainly.
to have the chance to think about it too. If you do it
Yeah.
online and read it, think about it, and come back with some reasonably responsible responses.
And I've heard that too, because people said they've gone back a couple of times to a certain section if they didn't quite grasp it or something they wanted to go through again, go watch the video again. So I think even when things go back to normal times, I honestly think that the virtual format, people are entrenched in virtuality right now, but this gives them an opportunity to read the address and go through the budget presentation and to look at it, whereas you're not limited to an evening.
Yeah,
If you
right.
can't make it that evening, you've got hockey, you've got curling, you've got anything else in normal times a lifetime ago, and there was normal stuff going on in the evening. That if you couldn't make the meeting, then you would have to go through a flip chart. But whereas now it seems to be a little more convenient, and it's quite encouraging that there seems to be an awful lot more interaction from the public, of which we want. It's the budget. This is how we're spending everyone else's money.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Great to see. Good work.
And just to add to that, I think it's been a very fiscally responsible budget too. I think we really did a great job of putting a lot of focus onto what we wanted to do, and at the same time keep it at a very reasonable rate. And if I believe memory serves me correctly, and Matt can correct me, I think it's one of the lower levies that we've ever done in the past number of years. So we're really trying to understand and be responsible, knowing that people are really struggling right now financially, especially businesses in our community, and we're concerned about that. So we really tried to reflect that in our work this time. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're feeling good about it.
Matt?
You're 100% right, Leanne. It's one of the lower levy increases, and thank goodness that the government hasn't decided, just because of 2020, that the provincial government, and that's where a lot of the levy increases come, because when you get provincial downloading that comes to the government, we're not in a position that we can carry a deficit or anything. It all has to go into the tax base. So anything that gets downloaded from the provincial government, of which they've really scaled back a lot of that in the last year of 2020. So everyone's trying to work together. I know that sounds very muted with all of the political speak that is going on out there, but there seems to be everyone's trying to pull in their horns a little bit. It's going to be a very fiscally conservative budget this year, as with because there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of things that we don't. How long is a piece of rope? That's where we're at right now with what future costs could be coming up for any number of different. We just don't know. So we've pared it down to the bone as much as we possibly could. Is there an increase? Yeah. Unfortunately, yes, there is. There's increases to everything, but it's as fiscally responsible as what we possibly can be for that. So,
Yeah.
and John, I have to say, for the number of years that I've been on council, that is the second time in my career that I've heard good job from anybody.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it was nice. Now it makes it sound like, well, that's great. I get them all the time, so it wasn't just a total one-off.
Well, it was said honestly.
Anyone else with anything? Well, it is 7:36, so let's adjourn our meeting, and I'm I move to adjourn the meeting. Is there a seconder? Good, thank you, Shirley. And everybody in favor? Great. I'll see you all on Tuesday, March 9th at online, or hopefully eventually together again in the boardroom. That would be a remarkable experience, but it was great to work with everybody. I was going to mention, I said to Sherry I would give her my personal phone number that she can pass on to any of the board members if they need to contact me. That was one thing. I do have everybody's email, but I don't have your phone numbers. So at sometimes occasionally there might be a need. I wanted to contact Becky and I didn't have her phone number just to ask her about friends today. And so I might try to contact you to trade phone numbers just so I have it. I have Bernice's. So if you need me, just ask Mary and she'll give you my phone number. Have a good evening, everyone. Nice to see everyone again.
Yep. Take care.
Be safe, be well, be kind.
Good night.
Good night.